And as soon as it ends, it's going to get with the clock and it's going to do the top of the hour ID.
Okay. And I'll pull it down slowly. The mic is already up. All I gotta do is turn it on.
Yeah, you'll just hit the white part when it's time. Oh, man.
And pull this down, of course. Well, you want me to actually stop it, so I don't have to pull it down.
Right, and this thing, he got too much music in it. It's missing a commercial. It has to be played. Give me a second. I'm going to fade this out and let this commercial play. Okay. So you'll be ready.
Oh, you're going to make it so simple for you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't.
Are you proud of yourself?
Not yet. I don't have anything to be proud of yet.
Yeah, you do.
All I'm doing is trying.
No, you're a lawyer, but I'm talking as an older person. If you said you've done this as your fourth one?
Fifth. Yeah. Well, this is going to be my fifth.
Well, you've done four. So be proud of what you've done. You could have just came the first time and just gave up.
I'm not a give up type of person, but that doesn't mean I'm getting good. I have to get better.
You're missing what I'm saying. Because you got that lawyer mentality, you're more critical on yourself than what you need to be. Be so very proud that you have continued with, this is all new stuff.
Yeah.
And you're working this. I'm proud of you. Please. Take the positive. You can always do better, but always don't put the negative stuff on yourself.
Help, Connecticut. I've had a slow start to the year, and now I've got to bounce back. Jill Merriam here from
And do yourself a favor when you have your show. So excited, my fifth one, you know?
Yeah. I'm gonna say that. I can't be morose. So.
Do you mind me telling you that?
No, I want you to. I ask people all the time when I leave here. When I leave here, I go online all day and I'm asking people, hey, what do you hate? What do I have to change? Stuff like that.
Cameron saw me and said, do you want to tag Christopher McCarty?
Oh, that's funny. It recognized you.
Uh-huh.
I tagged you, so.
Okay. We're running 2 minutes over. 2 minutes. It's just 2 minutes.
I'm Jill Merriam, and I'm the dealer for the people.
You're listening to WKMD, 1480 AM, Windsor, Hartford. W248CR, 97.5 FM, Windsor.
This is the Jamal Show.
And you come in whenever you want to.
And this is it, right? This is what I put on.
All right.
See ya.
Good show. We'll be listening.
You want me to stop this too, right?
Yeah, after you.
Yeah, after I put it down.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave that door open.
Okay.
For her.
Okay. Good show.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Jamal Show. This is my fifth show. Very, very happy to have you here with me. My name is Jamal. We're going to talk about a few things today. I'm glad that you joined me. It's a nice sunny day. The snow is melting over here in Hartford. We're going to talk a little bit about Paul Manafort. We're going to talk a little bit about Representative Ilhan Omar and her apparently anti-Semitic comments. We're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to go to some local news today. We're going to talk a little bit about Governor Ned Lamont and his proposals and his new budget. People have asked me to address some of these issues. Also, we're going to give a little R.Kelly update. There has been some things that happened with R.Kelly recently, if you haven't noticed, and we will be talking about that just a bit like I did last week. Once again, this is the Jamal Show. You have Jamal C right here. We will be playing some music for you as well. Let me get started. Before I get started, I need to cover some bases. My views do not represent this station, people. They represent me, which is important because I am different than the station. Once again, good morning. Now, we probably won't be taking any phone calls today, but if you wish to call in and test us, we're at 860-218-2173. But let me tell you a little story really quickly. Let me start off really quickly with a story about a man named Paul. He was the son of a very popular politician, this guy, Paul. The politician's name was Paul Manafort. Now, a lot of people here that are older are going to recognize that name a bit because we have a city close by here to Hartford, where I'm at right now, called New Britain. Paul Manafort Sr. was a very popular mayor of New Britain. So this is relevant to Connecticut. Now, he just died in 2013. But he was a mayor from 1965 to 71. And after that, he served in many other public service roles. He was known to get along with all the people of all the areas of New Britain, even the ethnic ones. Just a very popular guy. Now, his son, obviously growing up a little bit privileged, got into political consulting. Started a firm in Manhattan in 1980. Right? Big firm. Big political consulting firm. Made it big, right? Trying to look for the name. Black, Manafort, Stone, and Kelly was the name of the firm. This firm merged with another in 86. He started independently consulting with foreign clients, mostly in the Ukraine and Russia. During that time, he made millions of dollars working for thug types and dictators in that area of the world. He started cheating on his taxes to hide money, because we're talking about $60 million or more he was making. And he was pulling off bank frauds to make ends meet between big payoffs. So in other words, you know, he'd get a big payment, he'd go out and buy $10,000 suits. Before his next big payment would come, he'd need some extra liquid, some extra capital to go and buy another house or whatever he was doing. He was very generous out here with his money, with his friends. All of a sudden, Donald Trump runs. This guy, Paul Manafort, he had all these connections with foreign dictators or what have you. A lot of people with money. People in Saudi Arabia, people in Russia, people in Ukraine. What they call oligarchs. These are people that behave like government because they have so much money. He started working for Trump's campaign for free, which is something that I still need people to explain to me. How a man can afford to work for free and why he would be motivated to do so. Now, the theory is that he was doing so to please his Russian clients who wanted to have more effect on American policy, especially as it pertains to Russian sanctions or sanctions on Russian oligarchs. So he starts working for Trump for free, and the light gets shined on him by Bob Mueller, and he gets busted for all of his previous crimes. Now, the light got shined on him because he was working for Trump, and Trump was bringing a lot of light to him. Running for president allows for everybody to analyze you and look into your background or what have you. If you remember, Trump did promise to release his tax returns, never did so. So after he's busted, we go through this whole rigmarole. The whole idea is that he's probably connection to the Russian conspiracy here. That's what a lot of people are thinking. So the prosecutor squeezes him, basically. Says, we got you for all these crimes, and you're tampering with witnesses. Paul Manafort decides to make a deal with the prosecutors. He says, I'm going to work with you, right? Meanwhile, he's still talking to Donald Trump. He's acting as a double agent. This is what happened. The prosecutor found out that he was working with Donald Trump and actually took away his deal. Now, part of the deal that he got was that I believe there were 18 crimes that he was going to be indicted for. They dropped 8 of them because of the deal. So he got 8 charges dropped because of the deal, and then turns around and becomes a double agent. That doesn't make the prosecutors very happy. They drop the deal and tell the judge, go after him. Let him pay the price. He lied twice. They recommend 19 to 24 years in jail. Effectively a life sentence. Paul Manafort is 69 years old, 19 to 24 years in jail basically means he's going to die in jail. Now, since the beginning of this trial, there are 2 trials, by the way, involving Paul Manafort, 2 federal trials. One was in Virginia. That was the one he just got sentenced on yesterday. And one is in D.C. His lawyers were smart enough to split the trials. Instead of having one, they figured they'd take their chances with 2 different judges because they figured one would be lenient. And in this case, they were correct. Just yesterday, or excuse me, maybe 2 days ago, Manafort was sentenced to 47 months. This is on a recommendation of 19 to 24 years in jail by the prosecutors. Now, these guidelines that the prosecutors gave the judge aren't just out of thin air. No one just said, hey, 18 to 24 years. That sounds about right. No, this is an average of what people serve for the similar type of crimes around the nation. So 19 to 24 years is what most people in his position get around the nation. The judge for Paul Manafort in VA, Virginia, is named T.S. Eliot. Now, honestly, this guy was on the Trump train from the beginning. He came into the courtroom dissing Mueller, saying, hey, this has nothing to do with collusion, sounding just like President Trump. Sounding just like Donald Hush Money Trump. Coming in, no collusion, no collusion. Hey, this doesn't have anything to do with collusion. A judge is supposed to adjudicate trials based on what is actually charged and not what the media theme is. And here's this judge saying, well, none of this is about collusion, huh? He starts off with that. He starts off acting like he's got a problem with Robert Mueller's whole investigation. But he lets the court case go. He could have stopped it early. He let it go. He's just criticizing. At one point, he tells the prosecutors, look at me when you talk. He's just coming down on these guys. And the defense is just making all types of sense to him. Now, the defense, Paul Manafort's defense, actually saw this and played upon it. Very intelligent attorneys. They're like, every time they come out to speak to the press, they're like, yeah, that's right, and there's no collusion here. Basically echoing President Donald Hush Money Trump's wording, everything he says. It's pretty clear they're angling for a pardon, right? So at the end of this trial, and the sentencing comes up, that was 2 days ago, T.S. Eliot, the judge, basically says, these recommendations from the prosecutors, they're just too high. I'm going to give him 47 months, which is just under 4 years. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so the 9 months that he spent in jail add to it. So basically, Paul Manafort will get out of jail in probably 3 years. Now, I'm not including the second sentencing that's coming up in a week or two. Just based on this, he's going to serve 3 years. Now, it's obvious that this judge is on the Trump train, as are the lawyers for Paul Manafort, and they were smart to actually play upon that. But let's look at some comparisons, right? Some people may remember Monica Lewinsky, right? Monica Lewinsky was threatened with jail time for trying to conceal her affair with Bill Clinton back in the 90s. She actually tweeted that when she did that, she was threatened with 27 years. 27 years for trying to cover up an affair. Here Paul Manafort's dealing with Russians, foreign powers, while he's leading a campaign and lying on national TV about his connections with Russian oligarchs that he took polls to, that he dealt with during the campaign, and he gets 47 months. He's going to end up serving probably less than 3 years from this court on this sentence. Monica Lewinsky was threatened with 27. Just yesterday, Jussie Smollett, I'm so tempted to call him Juicy because I know he's gay, but I'm not going to go there. Jussie Smollett, the 36-year-old actor, was indicted by a grand jury with 16 felony counts. 16 felony counts for lying to the police, for possibly or allegedly lying to the police about his attack on the street. On each one of those felony counts, he can do 3 years. So we're talking about a possible 48 years for Jussie Smollett. I will add that these are two different court systems. There's a federal court system in America. There's a state court system. They are different. States tend to be a little bit. The difference is that states tend to be a little less successful at convicting people, but when they do convict people, they tend to give people more time, like ridiculous amounts of time. The feds, if the feds indict you, chances are you're going to jail. They are 85% successful at convictions when they indict somebody. And part of the reason is that when the feds indict you, they actually have to go to a grand jury to get the approval. which means that they're essentially presenting the case twice. By the second time, they really have their balls in a row. Now, let me tell you, he got 47 months, this guy, Paul Manafort, even after not apologizing. Usually when a defendant gives a statement in court, I'm very, very sorry. This is my fault. My family is suffering. These are all due to my actions. I'm very sorry. Our man, Paulie, didn't say that. He said, basically my family is suffering. It was all basically inward based. Now, mind you, he is suffering. He went in to jail in a $10,000 suit, looking like a formidable businessman. When he was wheeled into court the day before yesterday, he was wheeled in, first of all, in orange jumpsuit. He's been doing solitary confinement for 9 months for tampering with witnesses, which is horrible. Any drug dealer that has been to jail that has tampered with a witness will tell you that they got the most time for doing that. That is serious. That's called messing with process. And judges are usually very upset about that. But not this judge. Not this judge. Oh, no. This guy, he actually observed, T.S. Eliot, he observed Paul Manafort not apologize. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't apologize, man. Okay, that's okay. We're going to let you go anyway. And here's the part that people don't like. He said, prior to these crimes, Paul Manafort has led a blameless life. A blameless life. What is a blameless life? Who lives a blameless life? Basically what he's saying is you've been innocent your whole life up until this. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little personal story. I'm currently being evaluated by the Connecticut bar to be an attorney myself. These guys are going way back, like 20 years ago. They're like, yo, so when you hopped the train in New York at 25, I'm 47 by the way, like what were you thinking? Were you a criminal? Here Paul Manafort's been doing this kind of stuff for 20, 30 years. He's been a lobbyist for torturers and dictators for 20, 30 years. He hasn't registered at all. He's flouted the law. He's cheated the American government or the American people, whatever you want, however you want to look at it, out of an excess of $10 million in tax payments. And he's flouted it in front of our face. This judge says, that's fine, that's fine. He's led a blameless life. You're all coming down on him. Now, let me give you a contrary story. Let me give you a story that happened a few years ago in 2009. Same judge. People that watch politics will remember a congressman named William Jefferson. William Jefferson got indicted for bribery. The FBI raided his office, raided his house. And you might remember this. The big news about the story was that they found cash in his freezer. They found cash in his freezer box. Now, William Jefferson was indicted. He was put in court in front of T.S. Eliot, the judge I was just talking about. And he received 13 years. So, Mr. Eliot didn't say anything. Judge Eliot said nothing about his blameless life or how he's a black man that became a congressman against all odds in Louisiana. Oh, well, he came up hard. Maybe there was a misunderstanding here. Let me see if I can look at it from his perspective. No, he didn't do that. He gave him 13 years. Now, to be fair to T.S. Eliot, he did let William Jefferson out after 5. But that's 5 years. He gave Paul Manafort less than that, starting off. Now, there's a lot of reasons why he might have done that. Most people are thinking that he saw himself in Paul Manafort's shoes. He saw something in common. If you look at T.S. Eliot and Paul Manafort, they're both white males around the same age, same generation, similar backgrounds. So he saw himself in Paul Manafort. Now, this sounds like I'm saying that Paul Manafort should have gotten a heavier sentence, and that's true. I do believe he should have. But I want to put a twist on this. I don't like to see anybody go to jail for long, ridiculous periods of time. In my view, there's no reason to give somebody 100 years or 150 years in jail. He's not going to live that long. Why are we being ridiculous? Why are we, sentencing people to terms that are 3 times their lifespan? I do believe in rehabilitation. I believe in giving people second and third chances. So I'm going to put a twist on this, and I'm going to say maybe his sentence was fine. Maybe we just have to bring other sentences down, right? Maybe we have to make other sentences reasonable. We have a population that loves to over-sentence in America. You know, in some countries like Canada, in some places in Europe, you can do whatever you want and you'll never get over 25 years. Now, a lot of people will be offended at that. They'd be like, you kill my son, you know, go to jail for the rest of your life. But there are actually countries that make it a mandate that no matter how many people you kill. There was a guy in, I believe, in one of the Nordic countries who killed like 75 people. He went to a children's camp with machine guns and killed like 75 people. Shot like teens running away in the water, swimming in the water. He just shot everybody and turned himself in. And he's got like a treadmill in his prison. I mean, they kind of go the other way with the lack of punishment. The point I'm trying to make is everyone's saying basically that Paul Manafort got white man's privilege. White rich man's privilege. Even white rich men are saying this, right? Everyone's pretty much agreeing to this. My argument would be, let's bring down other charges to match that. Instead of having a young black man who's 19 years old, you know, who's selling drugs of all things, pretty much being a non-violent person, instead of giving him 25 years for his first charge, or these ridiculous Rockefeller drug laws that used to exist in New York, why not be a little bit more compassionate and believe in second chances for everybody instead of just for Paul Manafort? That would be my argument. Jussie Smollett might get 48 years for this ridiculous escapade. There are better ways to handle this. What does Paul Manafort's sentence say about equal treatment in our system? What it says is that if your name isn't Paul Manafort, but it's Kwame or Pedro, you may be in trouble because justice is not blind in America. It's not. I can't say it any better. There's a Harvard professor named Lawrence Tribe, story professor. He said it best in this following tweet. He said the fact that Judge Ellis called Paul Manafort and said he led an otherwise blameless life is proof that he's unfit to serve on a federal bench. He said, I've rarely been more disgusted by a judge who's transparently preferential when he treats the rich white guys, the way he treats rich white guys who betrayed the law and the nation. I'm going to give you a break now. Play a little song for you by a good friend of mine in New York, and we're going to go to another topic. Ty Bless. Hi, Gail. Gail just stepped in. I'm going to get Gail involved here. Now it's going to get real exciting. Don't miss anything. Let me see if I can play this for you now. I don't have engineer today.
Okay. We got it. I'm going to get you my water because it's ice.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Good, good. I got to give me a sip of water right quick.
No problem. Take your time.
All right.
Thank you, people, for watching, y'all. Love you, man. Okay, I'm taking out the impeach stuff because I didn't do enough research on that, so I'm gonna do that next week. Yeah, impeach. I was gonna make a case for impeachment. Oh. I'm gonna do that next week because I ran out of time. Okay. Did you hear about use the headphones if you want. Did you hear about the anti-Semitic comments by this Muslim representative? Did you hear anything about that?
In Boonville?
No. I'm going to get to something in Connecticut because I want to talk about the toll. Have you heard about the tolls?
Yes.
And also he's trying to tax legal services too.
Yeah, well, they're trying to tax legal services, massages, I mean, anything.
Okay, so we're going to go right into Governor Lamont's proposals then. Shouldn't take too much longer. We got 2 more minutes.
Okay, let me turn down my phone.
I'm gonna just start off with a story about how I came to Connecticut, and I really love the fact that there are no tolls here.
Oh yeah.
But I read the governor's letter. It's actually really, really good. Did you hear about it?
I read some of it, and it is good. But the problem is, he ran on a campaign that said he wasn't going to tax
Cars.
Right. You sound like Bush with the damn.
Yeah. Read my lips, right?
Yeah.
Great. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna intro it, and the music. Let me know when the music ends. I'm gonna intro it, and then we'll go on from there. And then we're gonna do I guess we can do a pretty long segment on R.Kelly to end off.
Okay. Yeah, because they make that way too. They talking about the man was swinging at her. They gotta capture that.
But you know what I really love? I love that she said I wasn't threatened by that.
First of all,
because you know there's a white girl. You know there's a white. She's like,
oh God, I felt
police. The police were standing by.
My neck was pulsating.
We had to have the police standing. We had to have the police standing by. I got Officer Bob. Yeah. You know, he's got this you know what's funny? She went back. We gotta talk about this on the air. Okay. She went back to her station. Oh, we got 35 seconds. She went back to her station, and Lauren, the O'Donnell chick, she was like, I was so worried about you.
Are you scared? Girl, bye, Felicia.
Exactly.
Nobody's scared.
So we're gonna do a little piece on the governor's proposals, and then we're gonna go right into that. Okay. We're coming on. Hello. Can you hear yourself, Gail?
Yes, I can.
All right, so we are back. I did a little piece. I want to welcome Gail on this nice sunny day. We're melting the snow. How you doing, Gail?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for joining me once again and giving me a hand. They get tired of my voice. Okay. You can hear yourself now, right?
Not really. Maybe it's just down too low.
It might be. I can see us making noise. I'm going to check this on the next song.
Okay,
but
no problem.
Let's see if we can make this do. I want to talk a little about governor. This is my first time tackling some local issues. And let me tell you something. I am a transplant from Harlem. I'm a transplant from New York. One of the first things I really loved about Connecticut off the bat was the lack of was the lack of tolls here. I noticed that immediately. I could drive straight from Harlem and never hit a toll. I always loved that about Connecticut. And I was at work yesterday, and this attorney comes up to me and says, things are about to change. Here's some paperwork on it. I'm doing it on your show. And I'm like, really? Is this interesting? And I'm like, it is, right? So I come across this letter from Ned Lamont. I got to tell you, being from New York, we like liberals. And Ned Lamont comes off to me as a liberal, as a strong liberal. Maybe people here would be able to disagree. I can hear.
Okay.
But you can't hear on your. You try this.
Okay.
Try this one.
Okay.
That's the one I think you're supposed to use. I'm sorry, people. Just some technical issues. Technical issues because we do not have our engineer here, so I'm doing this on my own. Ned Lamont's a great governor so far to me, right? There's going to be people that disagree with me, but I did read his letter. And for someone who's against tolls like I am, I hate tolls. If you live in New York, you'd understand. Or if you've ever driven through New Jersey, we call New Jersey an S-hole country, like Trump kind of thing in New York, because it's like every 5 miles you have a toll.
Oh.
And one time I had to drive through New Jersey to Maryland, and I had like $40 on me in cash. I was like, what's the toll gonna be? $9? I can take it. Like every 2 miles, they were like, $2.80, $3.40, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, 99. I was like, I went through the whole $40. It's ridiculous. So let me just go over what Lamont said. He says, we live in a great state. Well, that's kind of what all governors say. But they're saying that traffic is the big thing that holds Connecticut back. And I had to think, I'm not in traffic very much in Connecticut compared to New York. But I did realize that when you have to drive to New York from Connecticut or Boston, then, in the morning.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem. It is a problem. And you being from here, having lived here longer, you've noticed that, right?
Especially on 84 and 91. Why every year there's construction on 84 right between exit 44, Prospect Street exit? It ain't never changed.
Right. And it seems like there's not enough roads, or they're not big enough. Okay, so he's saying we need repairs and upgrades. And previous to this, they used to just add to the gas tax, right?
Yes.
And gas tax usually goes to transportation costs. Now, here's the thing, and he made some good points here. He's saying, first of all, people are using electric cars now.
Right.
The people that aren't using electric cars are getting more efficient cars, so they're using less gas. Mm-hmm. And this trend is likely to increase. We can't keep depending on the gas tax. First of all, our gas tax is higher than our neighbors, too.
Everything is high in Connecticut.
Right.
I don't even know why. Tell you the truth, don't know why. Our bridge is still falling down.
So he's saying tolls. Now, we were talking about this off air a little bit. Tolls were proposed by him when he was running, but his proposal was to toll only trucks.
Only trucks.
And trailers and stuff like that. There is another state that does that. It's Rhode Island.
Don't that sound familiar, though? Like, didn't Trump do that about the wall?
Yeah, it's funny. They move the goalposts when they get in.
Have these people pay for the wall. Oh, no, you're going to pay for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So they
Not
move the goalposts when they get in office,
Now,
right?
here go Ned. Ned, we love you, Neddy, but come on now. You said no cars.
Exactly.
Come
What
on.
he found out, what they usually find out when they get in office, is that things are a little bit different than they anticipated,
know
right?
that. These people are millionaires. They
Right,
know how
right.
business is
I
run.
heard that. I didn't know. He doesn't seem like a very rich guy, but I heard before you came in that someone told me Ned Lamont is a big
He's
time.
loaded.
Yeah, he's loaded, right? I guess you got to be loaded to run
That's
as a
why I call
politician.
him Neddy, Bo. Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like he kind of switched the eggs on this, right? Like, oh, well, I really meant everybody's going to get
Trump.
told. Now, to be honest with you, I'm kind of against tolls no matter what. They're just such an inconvenience. They're such an inconvenience. Like, stopping, going, I mean, there's got to be money somewhere else. There's got to be. Now, the alternative is they're saying these bonds, right? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, bonds, yes.
I wonder. He's against bonds because he's saying that's another form of borrowing for transportation. It's unsustainable. He does sound like a businessman about this no debt thing.
Yeah.
It's a good case, but no. Where do you stand?
Well, you know, how much money they just put into this new, what is it, high-speed transportation system.
Right.
Right? So why you can't, you know, just use some of that money that you should be getting now? You know? I mean, it does make sense. You upgraded all this stuff. So somebody got to be paying for somebody. So.
I'll tell you what I do like. I don't mind him taxing like send things, like putting more.
Like send? What's send?
Like,
Well, wait. A little deep. What do you consider send?
That's true. That's true. It's different everybody. Well, what they traditionally consider to like alcohol, cigarettes, you know, like charging a little more extra. Yeah, they're trying to tax electronic cigarettes now in the same way. You know, cigarettes are the most taxed things in America. They pay for a lot. Because they're saying that bonds won't work because bonds have to be reapplied to where the money comes from. So if they charge you a toll for coming across a bridge, the money that comes from that has to go straight to that bridge. So they can't use it in other parts of the state. And this is, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've never complained about Connecticut roads.
Because you're from New York.
That's true. Like, so it's like...
You think this is damn Simsbury when you in Harvard.
I'm going to be honest with you. Connecticut was kind of like... It was kind of like... You know, it was kind of like... heaven for a liberal in a way, because all the things that we wanted in New York,
just like right over the bridge.
Let's just every school that I've seen in Connecticut is brand in Hartford.
Well,
in Hartford.
Once upon a time, they was building every magnet school.
Yeah, so I walked down the block and every school is brand new. I'm like, New York schools look like prisons. They do. They have like barbed wire in them. They have like metal detectors in them. I had to go to school with a metal detector in my school.
That's what I'm talking about right now.
You know, that's what we need. Yeah, you say we need that more.
For real.
So I like how Connecticut. I don't see many potholes. Well, they do clean them up. They've worked a lot on Farmington Avenue, where I live. A lot. I mean, Connecticut does good with its roads, and it does it without toll. Now, New York.
Jamal, you sound like you got some money. Because the only person that ever know talking about it, Connecticut is ridiculous. Taxes.
Yeah, taxes are high. Taxes are high.
Who's paying car insurance on the car you own?
That's true.
You know, I mean, well, road taxes, whatever they call it, thing that you got to go down to the tax collector every so.
Oh yeah, I did get that in the mail. What's that about? I was like, what's this?
You know, you taxing everything.
I was like, how you taxing a car I already bought? Like, and I bought it used, so I'm still wondering how that $100 bill came to be. The interesting thing is that
you talking about Connecticut. What?
Well, you know what it is? I think the difference is less corruption here. And,
oh Lord!
Yeah, I'm new to the state. I'm new to the state. Well, New York. I mean, everywhere has less corruption than New York.
It depends on the population.
It really does.
Monopolization to the population.
So, do you like Ned Lamont?
I like Ned Lamont, especially when I saw him dancing for his inaugural ball That was funny. That's the kind of stuff they need to make viral.
See, we're used to that in New York. You know what we call that?
Yeah, but I like that.
That's called the extension to the black voters.
So what would you like, Ned Lamont? How many times this man on ran?
Well, you know what?
He
When
never
Ned Lamont,
gave up.
you know what it is? When I was in New York a couple of years ago, I saw he ran and lost, but I saw his commercial.
That was the second time.
And his commercial was actually really. He's known for putting out funny commercials,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah, he is.
And I like people that can laugh at themselves. So I was like, this guy's kind of interesting.
I think that's what attracts me to him too. He knows how to laugh and put down,
And one
his
thing
armor
about
for a little bit.
One thing about Connecticut politicians, they're not afraid to be liberal. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy, Chris Murphy. I mean, he's like, I'm going to take your guns, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris Murphy doesn't apologize about Jack. He's like, he gets on TV, they're like, yo, what do you think about the president? He's going to jail. We're going to be putting him in jail soon. Blah, blah, blah. Both of them.
Yeah.
Blumenthal.
Blumenthal. Now, I don't got nothing to say about him.
He kind of messed up his own.
Yeah, man. Once a liar to me, it's hard to get back.
Well, you know what it is? I do
What it
agree.
was.
You know, one of the biggest defenses of Trump is like they say everybody lies or whatever. I think the distinction is what you lie about.
Man, you lying about being in the
Yeah.
service. How
Now-
corny could that be?
I might lie. I might have lied to an ex-girlfriend in the past. Maybe once or
like,
twice.
I didn't eat that pork chop that was in the refrigerator last night, and everybody mad.
But the last one
But I
thing,
ate it.
the last thing I'm gonna lie about
The last
is the
thing.
military. Oh, I served in
The
Vietnam.
military. Like, really?
I was at a doctor recently, and he saw my name. He's like, Jamal, assalamu alaikum. I was like, oh no, I'm not a Muslim. You don't lie about that.
Yeah,
I don't play it off like, I'm a Malek Salam. You know what I'm saying?
And at the end, be like, how
Here's my Quran, brother.
No.
Nah,
yes,
people will kill you over that.
Yeah, it's everything has a balance. Everything has a borderline, and you just got to know where to draw that line at. We all might tell a little lie, except for me. Lord Jesus, thank you, Lord. But anyway, it is true. Once you're a liar and you lie on a big scale like that, like our president,
Right.
there is no redemption. There is nothing for you. You just got to pray to God.
And just like you said, that gave space for Donald Trump, of all people, to be like, oh, he's a liar. So
And
now
it was
Donald
true,
Trump.
though, and it was true. Like, dang, he got some cred right there.
Now Donald Trump can be like, well, look, he's a liar. Look what he lied about. And the biggest liar of them all is going to sit there and point out the mistake that you made. Now, another thing Lamont's doing, which hits a little close to home, he's trying to tax legal services. So, I got a letter from the bar. There are 3 states that tax legal services now, and Connecticut might be the 4th. This is part of his proposal. And that seems a little odd because...
Okay, wait a minute. I know you got that education with that. So you're saying if I was to go hire an attorney instead of that little fee that I put down to hire them retainer fee?
Right.
So it won't be $1,506,
Right. So they're gonna be it'll probably be a percentage. So it'll be like, let's say it's 10%.
Cool.
Instead of $1,500, be paying $1,650 to retain, and that money we're going. Now, part of the reason why, let's say it had been implemented in 3 states. One of the states reversed it because it seems to be kind of a very hard thing to regulate.
I would imagine.
Because most of these deals are signed in rooms or what have you. The state doesn't regulate when attorneys get money. Attorneys can put the money in any escrow they want to. It's very hard to regulate. So one of the states, I believe it was Massachusetts, reversed it. And now Ned Lamont's talking about doing that. The bar is totally upset about this. It's already hard for starting attorneys to get new clients. And so I wonder if this is just like, what they call a tax and spend liberal. He sounds like he's being responsible by not borrowing more money, but all these are just new taxes on the consumers,
like,
basically.
how much more do they think that the average person like me, how much more money do you think that I can give out? Like the light bill. Who charges as much for some damn electricity?
Right.
The gas bill. Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's crazy expensive, and you can't really get on any program. So unless you certain, income, but it's still too much.
Right. I believe that the states have an amazing amount of money. I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring more economic development to Connecticut. And he's really building off of the fact that Connecticut needs better transportation because we are between Boston and New York. A lot of people go to both places. They're 2 huge cities. And he's saying, this makes sense, that it actually takes longer to get to New York than it did 100 years ago because these trains haven't been updated or what have you. The transportation system, the public transportation system in Connecticut does need work. Everybody agrees to that. And in fact, this is not a partisan issue. I've been doing some research on this, and there are Democrats that actually support this, and there are Republicans that are against it. It kind of depends on where you are, I guess. If you're in a city that needs, like if you're in Waterbury, you're probably in favor of it.
Yeah, because Waterbury got some cliffs.
Right. They need more public transportation there.
You're like on a slope.
But I want to make sure we save some time for our good friend R.Kelly. So I'm going to go ahead and play another song for you right now. What song is that going to be? What are we going to play for you here? Shuffling papers in here, people.
Say something fast.
All right. So let me go ahead and press play and see what comes up. All right. It always does this. Oh, it is playing. You hear it, right? Same song. Mistake. All right, we're going to have some fun with R.Kelly now. We only got about 15 minutes after this song plays.
So this is off.
Yeah.
The mics are off.
Huh?
The mics are off.
Yeah, the mic's off. Are you filming too?
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work because I don't even have no internet.
Oh, okay. So, I'll forward your internet password before you come next time.
Okay.
I have a trick for getting on. But I'll just give you the password.
But I forgot.
I pay Xfinity by the week. It just saves me time and energy. Okay, so R.Kelly interview. Why did he do that interview? I have no idea. I have a theory of why he did it though. I think his lawyer told him, "Yo, bro.
You ain't got nothing else to do." Look, Cal.
Because he didn't do an interview the first
You
time.
can't fly no more, boo.
Let me grab some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. At the station today, WKND. Let's sit out here and chill out with Jamal for a minute and see what's going on. God is good. You never know when things just come up out the blue.
One minute. I hope you're having fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, talking shit, I can do that all day.
Now, this guy playing is a friend of mine from New York. He got the biggest club hit out right now. I'm going to interview him, but he's going to end up coming up here to do a show. So if I end up doing any extracurricular stuff, you're always invited if you want to come. I advise a lot of people in acting and stuff like that. I have a big jazz musician, Samba Sony and stuff. And I'm gonna be interviewing those people, but I'm trying to get my voice first. You know what I'm saying? Like before I start bringing in people and stuff like that, I want to know who I am on the radio. So, but I'm having a good time. It's a lot of stress.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you cut off for this.
You think so?
Yeah.
I appreciate you telling me that.
You're you know, like some people, like I know I'm just naturally Gail, so everything, you know, that's my nature.
You have a great voice
And
too.
you are too. Like you
Yeah.
know, you can tell. You know when you serious. You know when you ain't serious.
I don't even think I need notes for R.Kelly. That's amazing. I'll tell you the truth. They got to get a new border here. And another thing, they got to put their website back up. But we'll talk about that in a minute. We got 10 more seconds. We're going to come in. I want to ask if he's broke again. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
We are back. Gail and I are back, and we want to bring up a good friend of ours. Not a personal friend, but someone we've heard about. We've heard from for quite a while. I just got to ask y'all people in Radio Land, why is R. Kelly giving interviews?
Oh my goodness.
Like, I have a theory as to why. I do have a theory as to why. I don't know if it's true.
That's the thing.
But I think his lawyer was like, bro.
You might as well just go. You ain't got no
Yo,
move
man.
right now, so.
Here's a sign to take to the roof with you. Just try to get some sympathy while you, like, threaten to jump. maybe you'll get some sympathy from people, but that interview, and let me tell you, I think the actual whole interview was played yesterday. Was it last night?
Yeah, but I seen enough. You know, this is just like exploitation at the highest level. To me.
You don't believe him?
Well, I don't believe that it should be this way right now. There's something else going on. You seem like, you know, you got the Kaepernick football player.
Right.
You got Cosby. You don't got Michael Jackson. Now here you have the R.Kelly. But, you know, we understand that he's who he is, but why you have to be wanting to interview him right now? Leave the man alone.
Well, the thing is, okay, as a journalist, if R. Kelly came up right now and knocked on his door, I'd be like, come on in, Mr. Kelly. Because you want to talk about listeners? I'd have the hottest show. The Jamal Show would be the hottest show in America. I'd be like, Mr. Kelly, why'd you see that video? Because here's the thing. I'm watching it and I'm like, this guy sounds innocent to me. I'm like, I'm almost in tears. I'm like, why are you doing this? You know how you
really do.
you know how you like slapped his hand with his fist?
Yeah.
I was doing that myself. I was like,
everybody was seeming like he was trying to really beat up Oprah. See, you know body language. We people know body language,
That's the thing.
You couldn't have nobody else do that interview but Gayle King or Oprah.
That was
because they wasn't going to be scared, and he wasn't even trying to make them scared. I seen one picture where it looks like he had his hand up like he was about to back smack Gayle. Can you really stop with that?
See, that's the thing. That's been a white trope of black men for a long time. It's almost like the minute I stand up, that means, he's getting aggressive.
He was over.
He's getting a little bit aggressive.
That's how we talk when we get hyped up. We stand up.
I think it's time to call the police, dear. You know what I'm saying? One of those. So Gayle's sitting there. She handled it great. And
you know how the girls do. Woo,
your namesake, another Gayle. She sat there. And to me, I saw a sad man. I saw a man that was being destroyed. Right? Destroyed. And he had a reason to be sad.
And he kept talking about, you destroying me, man. So who is the you? And he kept referring to him as a he. You destroying me, man.
And you could tell that he wasn't directing the aggression towards her because he was
even
looking
at
the camera.
The camera was way over here to the left.
Keep the camera
Gayle
on.
was over to the right. It was they just made it seem like he was out there about to hit her. And were you afraid? Of course, Gayle gonna say no. You know body language.
First of all, black women.
Nobody scared of that.
My experience with black women is that they're not ones to just take a beat down. You know what I'm saying?
Can I give you some high five with that?
You know what I'm saying? So you know,
no, that is good.
She was like, I think in the back of her head, she was like, man,
I wish you.
She was like, yo, if this man hits me.
No, but you know, it wasn't even in her thought. It wasn't in her body language. It was not anything for them to be bringing up like he was going to hit the lady and were you afraid?
So she got back to her desk with Kelly O'Donnell. That's this white girl next to her. And the white girl's like, we were so afraid for you. That's what a Kelly O'Donnell would have felt. Yeah. But R. Kelly is not known to be like
we have a
big beatdown artist.
Us. We understand, you know, like sometimes I can do like, I know the radio audience can't see it, but sometimes I can be like this to you, looking in and you looking in my eyes like, what's up, Gayle? Time to run. If I look that way, we gone.
Well, I've had...
It's language, body language. So all that they were trying with his hand swinging like he's going to hit her. He's up over her. When a person stands over you and he shows aggression, come on.
But you know what's funny? If there were cops there, like Chicago cops there, they would have been like, oh, this black man's getting aggressive.
Of course.
That's the first thing they see.
Because he was really upset. The same fear that get us killed.
Now, quite frankly... If I was him, I probably would have been upset too. Which is why I wouldn't have done the interview.
Well, it's 50-50 though. Maybe something. Only thing they did is they knew what he was when child support came up the next 2 days later.
Well, that's another thing. Why is R. Kelly? Why is R. Kelly broke? Why is R. Kelly broke?
No, he's not broke. But why do you owe $162,000 of child support?
Okay. So he admitted on the interview that he has $350,000 left, which seems like a lot of money to me. I don't know.
You know I'm always going to defend him, right? What's his education level?
Okay.
I think they're exploiting R. Kelly. I'm telling you, this is what I see.
But he said, I went to the bank for the first time 2 weeks ago. And he's like, I had $350,000. I'm like, you haven't been to the bank before then? Like, he's like, so many people have things connected. I'm like, dude.
If you became famous in a certain era, your business management, they was ripping you off because you was letting them handle your business.
Okay.
You know, and he doesn't really know, you know. Hey.
So let me flip it a little bit.
Go ahead.
I was sympathetic to him because I was like, man, he's crying like this is real. I wouldn't, he might go to jail for the rest of his life. I'll be honest with you, I would think about running. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right?
You better fly, boy.
Dude, and going as a pedo to jail, and you're famous, so people will be like extorting you for money.
Man, they better put him in his own place.
Now, mind you, he does have a good lawyer. Mark Garagos was Michael Jackson's attorney. He got Michael Jackson.
Boy, maybe that's the connection.
Yeah, maybe it is. I will tell you,
series out.
what made the sympathy go away from me is when I saw the clips with his two girlfriends. Like, that's what. Did you see that?
Hating?
Did you see?
Was you hating both?
I was like,
Wait a minute.
Stepford Wives.
So look, he sang about it.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with having two girlfriends living with you. There's nothing wrong with that. But they were a little bit.
I wish I can get me two.
They were men that could both work, right?
Husband.
But the thing is, they were so like.
Stepford Wives looking.
Yeah, they were like, what do you mean we're doing like we're doing just
but
right?
They're young ladies, right? Very impressionable. R.Kelly is that thing,
You know what I was thinking? I was like, do they know that he's running out of money? Because women tend to change a little bit when they find out.
We'll find out soon. Look at Al Chapo's wife.
Yeah, right. Oh, right. She was in court. Like, where's the money?
Bye, Felicia.
Which mattress is the money buried under? So, you know what I'm saying? Before you go to jail for the rest of your life.
Money does make people change. Now if he's running out of money, they're going to be the first ones to really, really know. Because the rent won't be getting paid at Trump Tower.
All this stuff about how I love my kids, he's running all this stuff. How you get?
That's where he lost me at.
You're R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. How do you get $161,000 behind in child support if you're R. Kelly and you love your kids as much?
And why are you screaming? You want to see your kids? When the last time you seen your kids?
Now I did see an interview with his kids. They do live in a nice house, so I'm thinking some of that money came from him, as it should.
Yeah,
as it should. He abused his wife. She deserves that money. Yeah. My ex-wife raised my kid. She deserves all the money that she gets.
Yeah, I get that. But then you said you haven't seen them.
Yeah, and they seem like nice kids. They weren't mad. They weren't like, Dad, you suck. Now I heard one of them called him a monster, but she retracted that. She was like, I didn't really say that. Whatever. They're young.
They're impressionable. Kids are kids. And a lot of young ladies particularly think that because they grow up and they have these wonderful bodies that their head game is ready. Trust me, it ain't ready. It ain't ready. And then you find yourself in a situation.
Well, I don't personally understand how older men is attracted to women underage. That doesn't make sense to me. Because you're just in a different level in life. You can't talk to them.
But it's not normal. Remember last week we were talking about maybe something happened to him because something ain't right. I mean, when something ain't right, doggone it ain't right.
But even if let's say these two women were on the up and up, and there's nothing wrong with threesomes, stuff like that, right? The thing that got me disturbed is that he told Gayle King that he wasn't going to be in the room. Now, we all know how men can intimidate women sometimes, right? It's when they've been abusing them for a while. Yeah. So
Look at my eyes.
They start the interview. Okay, so you don't believe what every woman says. My sister's the same way, by the way. My sister saw that 6-part series, and she was like, look, he might be an a-hole, and maybe he had sex with underage kids, but all that stuff they were talking, come on. Come on.
And you got to look at it, too. We wasn't there, so she might be the aggressor. That's R. Kelly. Come on, now, you don't never know what you like when you get a moment and you see your spot.
Yeah.
I better not get close to him.
So I'm thinking, the thing that got to me is that if you're really not, first of all, if I was accused of those crimes, the first thing I'm doing is getting those women out my house. I'm like, yo, I just got 10 sexual assault charges, and they're saying that I had sex with you, the one that lived in my house, at 17 years old. So here's what we're going to do, sweetheart. You're going to go back to your parents for a while.
And tell them, I'm going to tell them that they told a lie.
Yeah,
you wasn't 18.
Yeah, don't say anything to anybody.
Yeah, so
here's $25,000. Go back to your parents. Go back to your parents. Don't call me.
Parents
tell them we broke up. As long as your parents are happy and not cursing me out on TV, maybe this can go away. Yeah. I wouldn't keep them in my house.
I know. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
They probably didn't have nowhere else to go either.
Well, the parents want them back, but
when
check this out.
Your token, you want your token still. We don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I bet you they don't want to go anywhere. I bet you they're like, well, we got used to it.
The abuse part, I'm always, I do not condone any of that. But you got to look at the whole picture. We wasn't there.
That's true.
And not to be funny, and please don't take this the wrong way. some of the women, you know, they wasn't like these glamorous women. They were just really average looking women.
Right.
And
even though someone kind of Kitty Jones is hot. Yeah, I like Kitty Jones.
Yeah, she is. But you know, when you look at them from back then.
Yeah, they were easy to manipulate.
Yeah, exactly. They needed something.
Right.
They were needing.
And they were overwhelmed by his stardom.
Exactly.
Now I have friends in the music industry.
So it might not have been right stuff, but.
I have friends in the music industry. One of them a big producer. He owes me $40. Like, music is an illusion, right?
Yeah.
So you think that he's got all this stuff, and these parents took these kids to a show like, oh, look at the big star. He's gonna help you. And he was looking at him like, nice behind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And my mama said she 18. So.
But let me just get to this one point. He's in the background of the room while they're interviewing them, coughing like. Like, come on, dude.
Cold. And again, that body thing. Everybody that knows exactly what you're doing, bruh.
They're saying to her, she's like, Gayle King said, you know, why is he taking sexual videos of you or whatever? She's like, my parents asked me to take sexual videos with him. I'm like, come on. What parent? My parents are looking for money. They're looking to get paid off. I'm like, what?
Impressionable. You know what?
And when you see these parents, they don't look like crackheads. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. So you just don't know. It's just a real sticky situation. What I'm saying is sometimes people need to just take something out of the media at some point, you know? I'm sorry, but I think things are diversion. It seems like when something really major going on, like the Donald meeting Kim Jong-un, you know, then this is breaking news over here. So then everybody diverts their attention over here to this, you know, situation. Somebody that can be put in as a pawn to take the smoke away from this deal not going through. It's just so much going on. Sometimes social media need to drop the mic.
Yeah, but one more point. What I have to say, I just don't. I have a lot of sympathy for him. When my sympathy drops is when he does stuff like that. When he's in the back of the room, like, what'd you say? Huh? Yeah, I'm here. You know, when he does that, he also asked Gayle King, should I stop this interview? But here's the thing. This is a guy who not only has videos with underage girls, he has a video of him watching another video with an underage girl. He's got a video of him having sex with a 14-year-old girl while he's watching another video.
Right, but
how do these videos get out?
But who's recording them?
That's what I'm saying. He is. That's what I don't get. Like, why would you do that?
If he's doing, like I said, if his level of security required, these people ain't just walking into these hotels. They ain't just gaining access. They ain't getting picked up by limo. The big people orchestrate. And it come down to R.Kelly and then the little people.
Well, this is kind of his fault. And let me just say this. He's got to make a deal. He's got to make a deal.
And he needs to do some jail time.
He's going to end up having... No one does pedophilia without doing some... Yeah. No one gets convicted of one charge without doing at least 1 year.
And unless you are a Republican.
He might... Yeah, right? Unless you're the president, of course. Who snuck in the, like, Teen Miss Universe pageants, right? Now he gets elected. We're going to talk a little bit about how Trump is treated differently next week, because I'm going to make the case for impeachment next week. But I just got to say, you know, filming yourself doing a crime is stupid. It is. Yeah. Signing personal checks like Trump did. These things are stupid. If you're going to commit a crime, I'm not an attorney yet. I'm not a practicing attorney yet, but I will tell you, you probably don't want to videotape it. And if you do videotape it, you don't want to give it to anybody else. These videotapes came out of his house. So he's going to have to pay a price for that.
By some trusted friend.
Right. And he's not the only music star. He's not the only music star to get caught up like this either.
But I think they all need to go to jail. They're all in cahoots. It ain't just him. It couldn't be just him. So if you allow this situation to happen, you know, not to get off the subject, but, you know, it is something that somebody else is setting up for him. He's debating, and I blame him for what he did because it's his actions. But there's a whole lot of other people that ain't even in sight.
Right.
You know?
So we're gonna have to end this. I'm coming up on 1 minute. These station managers are going to kick me off in a few minutes. I just want to say that this is very, very important. If you are experiencing domestic violence or if you are a domestic violence aggressor, there is nothing wrong with going to seek help.
Yes. You
are a strong person for going to seek help. Help is here for you. Everybody has problems. Everybody. Everyone, whether it be you are too aggressive or whatever, you need to stop yourself before someone else stops you.
Yeah.
Because you ain't going to like it when someone else stops you. So if you're an abuser and you know that in your heart, please seek help. There's nothing funny about this. R.Kelly's going to serve some real time probably. I hope that he also gets help. He does have a family that loves him. I've seen some of the interviews. I have done some research for this. So I just want to say please get help if you're an abuser or if you're abused. There are things online that you can check. My name is Jamal. You can contact us on the Jamal Show at Facebook. Please like the page. You can send some ideas on things you'd like us to talk about. I'm going to bid you adieu. This is Jamal Wright and Gail D. Gale for the Jamal Show. We really appreciate you listening. Thank you very much. Y'all have a nice night now. Okay, we're off.
I gotta get an announcement for my radio. For my church is giving an anniversary on April 14th.
Let's do that now.
April 14th.
Can we do that now?
Yes.
All right, hold on. Sorry to interrupt. We got one more announcement for you. Gail, you have something going on in your church. It's very, very important. People need to listen about it.
Yes, 46 Woodland Street, which is known as the Grace Lutheran Church. We will be having our pastor's second anniversary, Pastor Derek C. Holloway, April 14th. I wish you guys come out to join us. We will be having things starting March 10th. We'll have Pastor Holmes, Pastor Walker, Pastor Powell, all going to be joining us throughout starting March the 10th. So on the 14th of April, please check us out at 46 Woodland Street, Hartford, Connecticut.
46 Woodland Street. Can you have a phone number for them?
Yeah, well, I don't have that phone number, but let me give you my Gmail address if you're interested, and you can get the time. So it's Gayle, Gayle, D as in Denise, Gayle again, at gmail.com. So Gayle at gmail.com. Holla, 46 Woodland Street, April 14th. Hope to see you there.
We're going to be posting that information on the Jamal Show Facebook page. Please look for it. You will find it. And we'll post that information on the page today. Gail has some good things going on in the church. We want you to join in. We're going to be making more announcements like that. Back to your scheduled program. Please join us at the Jamal Show next week at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.
Holla. Thank you.
No problem. I'm getting more comfortable with the board now, finally.
Yes.
Even though I played the same song twice. That's okay.
Right.
My friend's going to love that, though. He's going to be like, you played my song twice.
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
I'm like, I made a mistake.
All for a purpose, right?
Did the outline help you and stuff?
Yeah, it did. And I was keeping on my Gmail right there. So what I did look at how, I looked at it and how I was going to, if anything, talk about. I don't really do anything that's like written out because my part is really just to come in and fill in.
Yeah.
And I can do that.
My first two shows, I did a lot of reading, and people don't like that. People want, like, one of my friends called me and says, I've had conversations with you. Like,
yeah, so like that show was a lot of talking. That's because we didn't have a lot of music played. But I think, from the time we started, I think we played 2 songs. But, it is what it is. Hope somebody got some information.
Yeah, but I also wanted to use that as a possible marketing tool because I'm like for advertising because I have people that need to break records.
Right.
And so I'm like, yo, I'll play a record. You know what I'm saying? And then it lets me play revolutionary records too.
Yes,
like
exactly. Off the forbidden path.
What are you doing with the rest of your day?
Well, I'm going to go home. That's why I wore what I wore because I was trying to paint my nails. So I was like, I can't get out there and then get them messed up. So I'm going to go home and finish grooming myself. But I had to come and, up here for you.
Thank you.
So I had to stop my little spa day.
I think the shows are getting better every week.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so. Yeah. And then my brother said, I was listening to you on the radio station the other day. I said, you did? He said, I could hear your voice. I said, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, it's a small town. I was amazed. The very first time I called in Philip, someone heard me and called me right after. I was like, wow, this is a small town. By the way, are you still in contact with him?
No, you haven't seen him in a while. I think that's
How did the show end? How did the show end? Do you know?
Well, I know that I told him I was leaving because it had gotten to be like 9 months and they still wasn't trying to give me any money, not let me do any of the
Oh, really?
Yeah, so there was no problem because he never really promised me that, but that was the whole thing about maybe we could. So it didn't happen. No fear, no foul. But
so you left before he left?
And then a week later or so, he said he left.
You want to drop me off downtown? You know what downtown is? Or you want somewhere else?
Yeah, I'm not going that way though.
Okay, no problem.
I ain't going out. I go that way.
All right, no problem. No problem. All right. Well, I'll see you next week. I'll give you an email. By Thursday or so.
All right. Because I can go by the hair store, but you can't get your bus from there though.
No, I can catch you right outside. It's cool. I thought you were going to downtown because most people go back to Hartford from there.
I live in East Hartford.
Oh, you live in East Hartford? Oh, okay. Well, have a safe trip.
All right.
I'll be speaking to you during the week. Thank you so much.
You got a baby on the way.
I can't do without. I can't.
Go.
I appreciate you being here so much. It's a much better show with you. Thank you so much. This is my dream. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks. This wasn't still supposed to be on. I was supposed to turn this off. You heard a lot of talk you weren't supposed to hear. I'm going to party now. Have a nice day.